On this Friday afternoon, we enter Week 20 of USL League One, but despite being Week 20, the first matchup between these two squads in front of us today, as Toronto FC2 hosting the Greenville Triumph here north of the border in Toronto, Ontario. I'm Chris Makovic, bringing you the action here on ESPN Plus, and what has been a fortress of late for Toronto FC2 here at BMO Training Ground, just not the same of late. This fortress under attack, really, losing their last two here at home and winless in their last three in these home confines, as it was Richmond getting the first victory at BMO Training Grounds by the opposition against Toronto FC2, but it started on the right foot for the team in all red as Serbal put it in the back of the net early on a chopper, but it was two defensive miscues for Toronto FC2 that did them in on this day against Richmond, as Akwe putting some pressure on Klinovsky and then forcing the ball on through, and the experienced player Tariq Mohamed being consoled by his captain here as he gave up the penalty kick that would in the end be a rebound back in for them against Richmond. Perusa got things going, but he was coming off the bench, so too little too late against Madison on the Wednesday matchup their last time out as he got through the Flamingo attack, but certainly they'll look to bounce back today from that recent form. Greenville, on the opposite side of things, 13 points in their last 6 matches overall. They have doubled their point total over that stretch, and they are one of the hottest teams overall. One of their captains, Aaron Walker, here getting it from the other captain, Tyler Pollock, and putting it in twice over that stretch for his 2 goals this season. And Coach Hark saying he's at his best so far in this campaign, and said it to him in practice this past week that really he's enjoying watching him play. This goal against Tormenta, the game winner in the end, really encapsulating what Greenville has been building towards all season. This combo play up towards the top, and then an experienced pass by Mohamed, cutting it back to Keegan, who now is tied for second in goal scoring here in League One. And certainly if Greenville wants a chance at the playoffs, Keegan needs to be putting balls in the back of the net. Coming up next, the first meeting between Toronto and Greenville here on ESPN Plus, starting 11s and kickoff next in the next few minutes. Welcome back here into Toronto, Ontario, as we get set for a matchup between Toronto FC2 and the Greenville Triumph. As you can see by that corner flag there, very windy conditions here at BMO Training Ground. We'll see how the weather maybe affects things here today in front of us as Toronto FC2 hosts yet another home match here on the stretch. Now 5-2-2 in their home confines, and today a completely new lineup, really, with 7 new features to this starting 11. As we do see Petrasso and Faria still out there, but Mohamed, Bunk Anderson, Perusa, and Ovalle, of course, all back out there for TFC2. And Ovalle missing the last match due to his yellow card accumulation. So now the captain back out there to help out the side here, looking to break the recent stride. For Greenville, the same exact lineup we saw in their win over Tormenta last weekend, as Bolin again still at that right wing spot with Hemmings just behind him, coming at the right back position. Pollitt still not available for the starting 11. He does travel with the squad, though, and is available on the bench as an experienced defensive option if needed. Here are the table that we have entering today. Greenville, with a win here today, would move up to a sole possession of 4th as we update our standings here from a week ago. The Triumph, with a win, 29 points. They would be one behind Tormenta and get sole possession of 4th position. And as you can see in the matches played, they have one up currently on Chattanooga and Madison as we enter tomorrow. So keep that in mind as we play these matches ahead down the stretch. Greenville still, with a win today, will be even on matches played with their squads ahead of them. As Toronto now will get us started here from BMO Training Ground as they'll whip it around the back, as this win does here today in front of us. Greenville looking to continue their stride. 2 straight victories for Greenville, 13 points in their last 6 matches, while Toronto losing their last 2 here in their home confines, and of course not winning a match in their last 3, dating back to that 3-3 draw against Lansing when they fought back to a 1-point result here at home. Okello passing it back, our head official for tonight's match, Carly Shaw McLaren, calling the foul early on, and Tariq Mohamed down. And certainly that's a worry early on in this match. Mohamed slow to get up as we'll take another look at this one. Physicality already starting as Bolin going in there with a late challenge, and that certainly is a foul. It was called so. As Mohamed back on his feet, the left back for Toronto. Came off the bench at halftime against Madison in the loss. As this ball goes over the top down the right side. Asusi playing it on back to Petrasso, and they'll work it around the back line. Asusi getting his first time today in a starting spot. Had 1 match played for TFC2 so far this season, but now joining that potent attacking midfield. As Bolin the pressure up to Mohamed, and Greenville certainly early on here, bringing the pressure here today on the road. Stolen back, and it will be the first possession of the day for Greenville. As they'll work the right flank, here's Bolin. Whips it into the box, and settled in by Filion as he'll survey the field. Making another start as he did against Madison. And in between the pipes in this rotation of keepers throughout the season for TFC2. As Mohamed plays this back, and the press continues as Keegan comes racing in, up to Okello, but intercepted. And here comes the Triumph in the white and green kit as Clouds plays it in. Bolin the strike with a curler, just wide and out of play. And Greenville already today looking to strike. Back here with TFC2. As Ovalle back to Bunk Anderson. Flicks it down the right flank. Faria heads it on. And it's back with Evan Lee. Lee and Seiler taking over the center back duties as Paul is still unavailable due to injury. Didn't play in the win over Tormenta, but Lee has been there all season. Seiler more of a right back or defensive midfield option, but can settle in there. As Mohamed clips this, and it will stay in play. Out of play as the wind continues to howl here at the BMO Training Ground. Here's Klaus. Over to Lee. Gomez plays it ahead. Here's Dominic Bolin. Cross in once again, but sailing it out of play. Miss hit on that, as it'll be a goal kick for TFC2. A look at Dominic Bolin, more of a right back option off the bench for Greenville early on in the season. But the Scotsman moving into a starting role as we hit the last few matches. Trying out that right wing slot was Hemmings and Bolin, and now overlapping a bit. You saw in the starting 11 that Hemmings is at the right back spot, but certainly a player that could step up as well, or Bolin can drop back, as you see here. Hemmings putting the pressure on, and then Toronto having to take it back. But not your right wing slot you would expect to see with this Greenville side, but it's worked out so far the last few weeks for John Harkes. As this will go out, Tyler Pollock, who was nominated for Player of the Month, will throw it back in to Seiler and to Walker. Foul called. Ovalle with the clip from behind as Dallas J will send this back ahead for the free kick. Greenville, more of a second half team so far this year, just 4 first half goals of their 17. With their recent scoring against North Texas and Tormenta, no longer the team with the fewest goals scored here in League One. As their offense has come through a bit here as the season has gone on after early frustrations. TFC2, their main issue so far this season has been giving up goals. The offense has not been the issue as they've put 30 in, but matched by 30 given away defensively. TFC2 back in possession as they'll work it around the back. Winless in their last 3 matches, all home matches, of course. As this goes out of play, John Harkes will play it over to Hemmings for the free kick. As Clouds will work it back to Evan Lee. Greenville, a +6 goal differential last 6 matches, 5 clean sheets. As Gomez flicks it on through, but cleared by Mohamed. This will go up towards Petrasso. Here comes Pollock with the pressure, and the left back wins it back for Greenville. Mohamed cuts back into the box, strikes it. One hop, Bolin in there. 1-0 to Greenville here on the road. 7 minutes in. A poor hop there on the save in the end by Filion, and it falls to Dom Bolin. Dominic Bolin getting his first of the season, the Limestone College product. And we'll see the build-up here. Sort of similar to that Tormenta goal we showed you in the pregame. As Greenville was able to build up the left side with Omar Mohamed, who had a go of it from the top of the box here as he settled in, and a quick turn, looked up, sent this one a skipper, a dangerous ball, and Filion couldn't get a grab to that one, and unfortunately for him, his defense leaning more to that side of the box, and really just Mohamed, the left back, waiting there, trying to stop Bolin, and not enough, as it's 1-0 to the Triumph here in the 8th. Okello clips it in there, dangerous one, as Susi almost there for it. As this will be a goal kick. No, it is offsides as Asusi ran in there. What a start here, a dream start for Greenville here on the road. Jay slings this downfield. Bolin on the tackle. Might be an enticing battle here today between he and Mohamed as they battle to the turf once again. Gomez on the run. Mohamed, a good challenge to win the ball back. Faria takes it in. He'll pass it off. As Keegan trying to break through Faria. He goes down, and a foul is won. Faria along with Nelson, 2 players that Michael Rabaska and his staff looking at as potential replacements here in the TFC2 system for Jacob Schaffelberg, who has seen great minutes and great production with TFC in Major League Soccer. As Lee chips it in there. Seiler, the header across, but no one else making a run, and a white kit as Filion will pop onto this one. Avalle takes it, and this pressure from the top certainly rattling things for TFC2 early on. Waja in there at the right back spot as Griffin Dorsey with that red card against Madison, unable to play today. Fortunately for him, he's also on yellow card accumulation, so when he comes back, he's also facing one more yellow card for another game suspension. Avaye plays it to the left wing. Mohamed looking up. Plays it on back, and this will tiptoe the sideline as Bunk Anderson comes up to take another player that came off the bench at halftime for TFC2 in their matchup with Madison, as Lee deflected by Perusa and volleyed away. Perusa, last two matches, came off the bench for TFC2, didn't get to have as much of an effect. He had that goal against Madison really just moments after he came off the bench, and what he does so well right here, finding those lanes on the through balls, unable to connect on that one, but that's probably the real worry today for Evan Lee and Cole Seiler at the back. TFC2, as you can see, not much success when conceding the first goal in a match, but they do have 3 comeback results, as you can see, 3 draws. Greenville on the other side, very strong when they score first, 6-1-1. That one loss, the home loss to FC Tucson a few weeks ago. A 3-1 result for FC Tucson, as it was Gomez in the end that got the steal with the pressure at the top and put one in early on the side from Arizona. Villion out of the back as Keegan slots in up top. Walker stepping up, giving over. There is Gomez picking it off. Through ball ahead. Keegan on the run, the strike. Oh, it would have been a gorgeous goal, but instead offsides, as has been the theme all season here for Toronto FC2. Michael Rabaska saying he likes to play that high line, really to dictate where TFC2 wins the ball back, as then they're further up the field, and obviously they can spur on that transition. Perusa, Petrasso taking the ball the other way, and we've seen how strong that can be so far this season. Ball over the top. Okello on the run. Here comes Hemmings as well, though. Jay, bit of trouble as he sends it down the field. Now tied for first and clean sheets with 9, along with Pablo Jara of Tormenta. So he slides it in. If you're just joining us here in the 12th minute of action, 1-0 Greenville on the Dom Bolin strike on the rebound. Greenville a win today, and they'll have sole possession of 4th in League One. Ball slotted over, open play. Favria there, sends it back over, but volleyed out by Aaron Walker. What a play getting back. A corner kick coming for the home side. Favria wide open on the near flank. Okello finding him on this through ball. Flicks it back over, looking for contact, but there is Aaron Walker, the captain, sending it out of play. Walker, right flank, Mohamed picks it off. He likes to get forward. Faria also running alongside him, sends it back in. Hemmings on the run, covering. Faria into the box, sends it over and cleared away. Avaye taken back as Walker's all over the field early on. Jay Keegan now on it. Had a brace against North Texas and then the goal against Tormenta on Saturday. Mohamed will chase after it and comes up against Waja. Through the legs of the right back for TFC2, and it's back over to the red kit. Okello on his run. Faria causing havoc against Hemmings early on in this match. Again on the ball. Cuts it back. Perusa's there, so is Okello. Hemmings knocks it out. Corner kick for TFC2. What an electric start here from BMO Training Ground. These two sides going at it on transition. As Asusi comes over to take this corner kick. Asusi whips it in there on the corner kick. Up and out of play. Missed opportunity. As it will be a goal kick here for Dallas J. Has started all matches for Greenville this season. As Jay now also the leader in goals against average. 0.7 as a team for the Triumph. That's been their theme all season. Defense first, and it's worked out so far. Not much production early in the season, but clean sheets have come and as the season's gone on, and that's helped them certainly. Polak plays it ahead. Jake Keegan on the run. Well, there's Filione off his line, picks it up, and he'll try to spur things forward for TFC2. Here's Bunk Anderson. Mohamed takes it in. Romeo down the right flank where Waja is. Ball deflected back by Walker as Mohamed will take it in the back. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com as Jay slings that Select ball over to Cole Seiler. And almost picked off by Faria. Dangerous pass as Lee sends it on back to Jay as he'll clear it down the field. Bolin drawing the foul against Mohamed. Again, those two going at it. As it'll be a free kick near midfield for the Triumph. Throw in by TFC2. Bunk Anderson stepping up. A regular at the center back slot for TFC2 and someone certainly to watch if they do get some set pieces going. Ball chipped in. Evan Lee has to deal with this awkward little flick. As Clouds will whip this downfield. Keegan on the run, stretching Bunk Anderson back. And he'll try to go back to his keeper, Filione, on loan from FC Zurich, making his 5th start of the season as the pressure continues. 1 clean sheet, 6 goals against. Left flank, Faria brings it down out of play as Hemming searches for a ball as it was kicked away. And he'll have a throw-in. Hemming's the Georgia State product and former Ocean City Nor'easter. As TFC2 looking to break their recent stride, but giving up a goal early on. Keegan trying to get through the traffic. As Hemmings will clear it back to the other side. Seiler down the right flank. Mohamed takes it, crosses it in. Filione fists it away. And then Asusi all the way back, trying to clear it. Hemmings keeps the ball up. Mohamed chips it in. Headed on. Gomez the strike. Offsides though, as Gomez arguing for the call in his favor. What a beautiful touch again. As Filione able to make the save, and then the offsides call against Greenville. Mohamed driving this in a diving stop. It was Gomez there. Keegan at the back post as well. Look at the offsides here. As that was driven in, and once again, 2 offsides on Greenville. Both, if not called, would have resulted in goals as Keegan from outside the box and Gomez here inside. Waja takes it. Whipped in, left flank as cutting back to take it is Faria. Okello. Elijah way up the field right now. He's the right back in today's match. He'll take it in. Advantage played. Mohamed stepping up as well. And Toronto FC2 just cannot get into this final third right now against this Greenville defense. The team that Michael Rabaska called very organized. And now TFC2 forced to play it all the way back to Filion, trying to stretch out the triumph potentially. Mohamed steals it back. Some numbers briefly here for Greenville. As he's top of the box, still going through, trickled on, shot coming, saved by Filion. And the third offsides flag on Greenville early on, and frustrations here for the Triumph offense. TFC2 back in possession off after that offsides call on Greenville. Filion inside the box, back in possession, and it's been really more possession for this TFC2 defense than their offense so far. As Greenville taking the press to them, Gomez intercepts it, flicks it on in. There's Keegan, gets the deflection his way off Romeo, out for a corner kick. Greenville on the attack. Gomez looking for the assist here. He has 3 this season along with 2 goals. Ball whipped in, near post, deflected on, stop, Bolin the strike, stopped by Okello. Here comes TFC2. Mohamed cuts it back, swarmed by white kits, but finds a little room for Perusa, who's brought down by Polak. Advantage played to TFC2 as their striker is down at midfield. Perusa re-entering play up the field as we continue. Okello turns, looking for options. Perusa there, cutting through traffic, strikes it. Wishful one as that whipped in the wind a bit and is sent out of play. As a yellow card is issued to Tyler Polak on that foul at midfield. Polak there. Good sportsmanship with Perusa. As luckily for Polak, he was actually just had a card taken off his account by the league for good behavior, as he was close to the yellow card accumulation threshold. As Polak given the card, our first of the match, as he's up to 5 now on the season. Flicked on, Perusa there, working against Lee, but a good tackle in the end by the center back. Way down the field we go as Bunk Anderson trying to get out of the corner. Keegan's there with the pressure. He'll heave this into the wind. Avaye back to Klaus and over to Polak. Up to Hemmings for Greenville. Coach Michael Rabaska of TFC2 hoping for some good chemistry out there today, as he really felt like that's what he didn't see in the match against Madison. A lot of new faces out there in that squad. As this ball goes ahead, Akello there flicks it on, and a foul called at the top of the box as Akello goes down as he passed it off to Perusa. And it's a free kick for TFC2. Great position at the top of the box. Maybe some late contact there. As Evan Lee getting a touch to him and then a second one coming in. But TFC2, a team, can take advantage on these set pieces very well. They do have the ability to of the header, of course, at their end, but this one certainly you have to expect a shot out of it. As Jay sets up his wall. 4-man wall with Klaus just outside. Looking to maybe rush the ball here. Faria, Avaye, and Perusa over it. Avaye taking a few more steps back to get out of the picture. Faria, the shot, and saved by Jay. And if you're Dallas Jay, that's probably the exact shot you wanted, right at your body. As maybe a missed opportunity for TFC2. Up and dip into the hands of Jay, as he'll punt this downfield. Mohamed will play this on back to Cole Seiler, the Anderson, South Carolina native. TFC2 trying to get things going. 26th minute. If you're just joining us, early goal by Dominic Bolin in the 7th minute. Mohamed trying to find Perusa. Both players fighting for it, winning it from Walker. Left side now. That's where they'll find Faria. Whips it in. Perusa chests it down, trying to make a quick turn. The strike deflected right into the arms of Jay. Not much power on that anyway, as the swarm continues from the Triumph defense. Fans follow TFC2, the Greenville Triumph, and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, US Open Cup, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Tyler Pollock quickly the other way, but does hold back now. As Greenville sets up the attack, Walker lining into this one, finding Dom Bolin. Heads it up. Filion grabbing that one at the near post. Dominic Bolin getting that early goal on the save by Filion right into the path of the right winger, standing in the middle of the box. The shot initially came from Mohamed just outside the box. Ovalle, the captain, back in action today after missing out on the Madison match last week. Bolin down the right flank. Gomez just in front of him, but stopped by Ovalle. A player you don't hear too much about in terms of goal scoring or assists, but certainly he's the holding midfielder you want on your side. As Faria heads the other way, cross in over everyone as Tyler Pollock heads this out. A corner kick coming for TFC2. So far, just one shot for TFC2. Excuse me, 4 shots now, with 2 on target. So Greenville maybe getting the early strike, but both teams getting their opportunities. Possession slightly in favor of the home side at 59%. Ball whipped in. High arcing one. Jay in and grabs it, but a foul called before the ball even landed, as it'll be a free kick here for Dallas Jay and the Greenville Triumph. Another look at this one. There's Okello and Hemmings maybe going after it. Romeo, though, quick turnaround with a reaction, so maybe on him and his jostling on the other side. Mohamed working the left flank. Ahead, Romeo getting towards it at the end line. Cleared out, and no deflection, says our head official, Carly Shaw McLaren. It's out of play. Won by Klaus for a corner kick here in the 30th, as frustrations continue on both sides. Wind whipping here at BMO Training Ground in Toronto, Ontario. Thank you for joining us here on ESPN Plus. First matchup here in Week 20 of USL League One. As Greenville and Toronto meeting for the first time this season, they'll meet 2 more times here in these final few matches of the season, including in 2 weeks, right on this very same field. Gomez over the ball, really crowding the box here, and Filion. And because of this, it will go out of play, hung up in the wind a bit, and it's a goal kick for the Toronto keeper. Toronto 5-2-2 at home this season. Of course, those 2 losses. Gomez stolen at the back to strike, saved by Filion on the left hand. Back, Keegan strikes it in. 2-0 to Greenville on the mistake at the back by Toronto. And Keegan now tied for first with Renato Demos for the Golden Boot race. As Gomez unable to get the first strike by Filion, but the second one is true for Jake Keegan. Another look. And of all players as well, Ovalle, the captain, giving it up at the back. Gomez the strike initially, saved, and then Keegan right through the legs of Filion as he dove to his left. Beautiful stop, getting out there quickly, but Jake Keegan having the last laugh on the second strike. As the Greenville Triumph trying to make a statement today on the road. Up 2-0 here in the 32nd. As Toronto FC 2, the woes are continuing, at least in these first 32 at home. Down 2-0 to the Triumph. Jay clears this downfield, and I don't know if you noticed it at home, but that ball taking a quick roll and then immediately stopping. This wind really whipping onto the field. Gomez. Mohamed, interception around Bolin. Here comes the left back for Toronto, but taken back by the left back of Greenville, Tyler Pollock. Klaus, and they'll move it back through the defense. Greenville just giving up 13 goals this season. First here in League One, just ahead of Tormenta. This Greenville side, right as the offense has gotten clicking the last few matches, adding a piece and a striker, JJ Donnelly from Tormenta FC2. Player that really shined in the USL League 2 campaign, including joining them in their Southern Conference Championship run and before falling to Reading United AC in the USL League 2 National Semifinals. Jay clearing this down the left flank. Knocked up by Mohamed and out of play. Well, that's been Greenville's real problem this season, that luckily for them hasn't been shown as depth on this squad. Starting the season really with an 18, then adding Max Hemmings for some depth, and then now JJ Donnelly. And we've seen how much of an impact Max Hemmings has been, starting nearly all matches since he joined the squad a few matches into the season. Here is Hemmings on the ball, little through ball. Gomez on the run, into the box. Cuts it back, Mohamed there, Mohamed the goal! 3-0 Greenville in the 34th minute. They've had barely any first half goals this season. They're nearly doubling that total here in front of us today. What a start to this match for Greenville. Another look here. on the transition come the Triumph once again, and Gomez may be figuring out that offsides call as we progress in this match. As he found Mohamed cutting back, Romeo was standing there, but just outside his body, as you'll see here. Just curling the wrong way as he looked to stop the ball. Mohamed squeezing that in, getting his first in a Triumph uniform here in USL League One play. You have to keep in mind, though, North Texas came here earlier this season to BMO Training Ground and did have a 3-0 lead. Toronto fought all the way back. They have 3 comeback results this season when they do concede the first goal, so keep that in mind. They are a comeback team, certainly, as this is headed out of play by Seiler, but Greenville certainly making a statement early on here on the road, as with a win today, they would get sole possession of 4th place on the table. TFC2 taking it around the back. Looking for the latest USL League One news and content? Follow at USL League One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for exclusive access and updates. One of those postings on social media and on USLLeague1.com. The power rankings this week, Greenville all the way up to number 2. TFC2 with their recent slide falling to number 9. The 2 teams on different ends of the spectrum, and on those power rankings, it's sticking to it so far. 3-0 to the Triumph here in the 36th minute. Bolin, Keegan, and now Mohamed scoring as a foul is called, as it's Asusi going down. And a quick restart by TFC2. Mohamed down the left flank. Here's Faria. Okello. Waja. Back to Okello. 2 shots on target, 4 shots total for Toronto FC2 so far in this match. Faria. Okello. Through the strike, deflected, and Jay, good footwork there to keep it away from a corner kick. Deflected at the top of the box by a Greenville defender. Waja, stealing it back. Here's Peruza. Peruza. Sliding it, left side, Faria takes it in. Working against Hemming, strikes it near post. And a little skip and a hop. And it's into the arms of Dallas J with the save at the near post. So 2 weeks ago, we had really the week of the road team here in League One. It's starting that way, at least for now, as Faria whips it in. And Dallas J, again, that save. With just one home team winning 2 weeks ago in that week of action, week 18. And here on this Friday matchup, looking the same as Greenville. Looking to find another here. Dominic Bolin cutting it. Mohamed through to Keegan. He didn't see the ball coming all the way through. He thought maybe a TFC2 defender was going to get to it. Hemmings, Klaus. Back to Seiler and Evan Lee. Lee knocking it ahead, and it's back to TFC2. As here comes the red kit, Walker, almost committing a bad foul there. Peruza, through ball ahead. Gomez is there all the way back on defense. And Hemmings clips it ahead. Bolin the target, but Mohamed gets it. Okello thinking about it. He'll strike it. Oh, that a close one, but Dallas J saw it all the way, didn't make a move. As Okello just had to go, as it's been really tough for TFC2 to break down this block of Greenville defenders. What a strike, a powerful one just by that left post. Noble Okello now making his 13th appearance of the season for TFC2. Does have an assist and, of course, experience with the Canadian national team, the Gold Cup roster, and also the last U20 CONCACAF Championship. Foul is called, as Mohamed will be called for it. Free kick for Greenville, as Hemmings went down. Another look here on the resulting play. Both players going in with a high boot, but Mohamed clipping Hemmings, who won the ball in the air, resulting in that free kick foul. Hemmings slow to get up. He's had a rough last few matches. Was on the foul that drew the red card against Edwin Cirillo in the 4-0 win for Greenville against North Texas. Then a couple hard collisions last week. There were concerns, John Harks told us, of him making the trip here this week, but good to go, starting at the right back slot for another week. Mohamed, quick turn with the footwork to keep the ball. As Seiler will play it up the left flank. Here's Keegan. Polak met by Waja, so we'll have to play it back to the captain, Walker. Walker and Polak exchanging captain duties through matches this season. As this ball is played down the left flank by Seiler. Polak on it. Waja safely clearing that up the line, keeping it in play. Good run being had here. Petrasso flicks it ahead. Lee bodying away Perusa, and sliding in is Dallas J. 3-0 Greenville here in the 41st. Goals by Bolin, Keegan, and Mohamed. As the wind continues to howl here, TFC2 trying to break this 3-match winless drought. After BMO Training Ground was such a fortress this season, they've lost their last 2 here at home. They entered this 3-match stretch with a 5-0-1 record at home. Another chance here for Greenville. Sent in, knocked down by Bunk Anderson, still in play with Waja. Polak. Spin move. Mohamed flicks it in, headed away by Romeo, and it will stay with Mohamed and the triumph. Hemmings. And stolen back, Faria on it. Mohamed moving up the field. 2-time Team of the Week member as he's knocked down by Boland. Asusi, service to the right flank. Petrasso ahead to Perusa. The striker picking his head up, working against Seiler, who gets the stop. The former Sacramento Republic player getting in there and stealing it from Perusa, who is called for the foul as he tried to get the ball back here in the 42nd. Ticking towards halftime here from BMO Training Ground. Coming up, we'll take a look at the latest signings around League One. So many announcements this week, with Impact players also coming in just a few weeks ago, and of course a preview of the upcoming schedule for both Greenville and Toronto here at halftime. Some Greenville fans making the trip up north of the border. Long journey for John Harks and his side. Out of play, and it's a throw-in for TFC2. Out of the back for TFC2 once again. As Jake Keegan is a native of Stormville, New York, so it might not be too much of a journey if that is his family. But nonetheless, Triumph supporters. As Greenville making the trip here a few days ago. Had to make the drive up to Charlotte before flying out. Klaus playing it all the way back as Greenville looks to stretch the field a bit here against TFC2. Jay down the right flank. Knocked down by Boland. Here's Ovalle. Playing it on to Bunk Anderson. Mohamed. This pressure for Greenville. They've had it all season, but certainly wrecking havoc today against TFC2. They haven't really been able to break through it. And when they do, they give up the ball like this. Chipped over the top, headed on as Filione comes off his line. Falls free to Polak, but closed down quickly, so he won't be able to take a chance from that far out with Filione off his line. Walker takes it in. And they'll put it to Seiler on the far side. Final minute here before stoppage time. We're hearing 1 minute of stoppage time from the sideline for now. We'll see if that changes based on the next 45 seconds. Filion will come in and take it. And he'll slide it on over to Mohamed. A dream first half here on the road for Greenville, up 3-0. Out of play. And Walker losing possession to the throw-in. And Toronto, team that certainly has had their issues giving up goals this season, now up to 33 goals allowed, but they do have 30 goals, and they've been shut down so far by Greenville. And that was an interesting matchup entering today. If Toronto's offense could hold up against this Greenville defense and vice versa. And so far, so good for Dallas J and his unit at the back. Both teams with 7 shots, 5 on target for the Triumph, as we do see the board at 1 minute of stoppage time. Out of play. Throw-in will come for Tariq Mohamed, native of Toronto. See John Harkes in your picture, leading the Triumph here in their inaugural season. Slow start to the campaign, but certainly getting things going as we reach the pivotal stretch. 13 points in the last 6 and looking to make it 3 more. Mohamed cutting through. He'll try to change the flank as Waja strikes into this one, and you can see the wind whip that the other way. It's a goal kick, and this may be the final touch before halftime. As Gideon Waja working into that right back slot, the native of Ghana. 18 appearances for TFC2 last season. Dallas J over the ball as he'll slice this up the field, and the halftime whistle blows, and the Triumph, what a performance in this first half, up 3-0 on Toronto FC2 as the woes continue for the home side. That man there, Jay Keegan, he's tied for the Golden Boot lead now in League One with 9 goals. He, Bolin, and Mohamed striking in this first half. It's 3-0 Triumph at the break here from BMO Training Ground as TFC2 back to the drawing board with their head coach Michael Rabaska at the break. Coming up here as we continue halftime, a look at the new signings here in League One and the schedules ahead for these two clubs. 3-0 Triumph at the break here in Toronto, Ontario. Welcome back here into Toronto, Ontario. We're at the half between Toronto FC2 and the Greenville Triumph here in Week 20 of USL League One. Now seeing some new faces join these squads, looking to help out those playoff hopes, one of which being Oliver White joining forward Madison on loan alongside his teammate from Memphis 901 FC, Louis Bennett. And White has been a great feature at the top of the formation for one of the hottest teams in League One, now at the top of the League One power rankings. Little chip over the top for the assist to Don Smart when they faced Lansing a few weeks ago. And a beautiful look at this one as he's offered both hold-up play and also an ability to really service those wingers to the outside when they are streaking down the field. Back to Irk Russell Park, same venue, and another great result for a debut. Off the bench, Shinya Kadono, the Loudoun United striker, now joining Tormenta on loan for the rest of the season and should offer some pop to that offense that has been sluggish the last few weeks, but now looking to get back at it as they'll face Chattanooga tomorrow. Almaguer, he's been with North Texas all season, but now going from loan status from the FC Dallas Academy to full pro contract as he'll continue to produce from the back for North Texas SC as they continue from the top of the table at this moment. A couple other signings across the board, but the real theme here is Tormenta as they've signed a couple players to their own team, but also producing some as J.J. Donnelly moving from Tormenta to the former Campbell University striker, now going to help out the Greenville Triumph. Didn't make the trip up to Toronto, but certainly when Greenville returns home next week, they will have Donnelly along with them in the 18. As you see, Jordan Skelton, the defender from USL League 2, also joining Tormenta, and a signing announced earlier this morning. A couple other faces we should see as we continue action here in Week 20 of USL League 1. Looking at the schedule ahead for Toronto FC2, Richmond back on the docket. And of course, just after taking down Toronto FC2 here at BMO Training Ground. So we'll see if Richmond's able to replicate that success. They were able to take care of the opportunities that were given to them by Toronto in their defensive miscues. And it'll have to be a good effort from Gallardo and the squad as they are a decently hot team here on the schedule as they will face Richmond and then Toronto. Have to deal with Greenville once again, and this time here at home as Toronto looking to take advantage of those home matches despite being 3-2-4 on the road. For Greenville on the other side, really they're becoming more familiar with the northern side of USL League One. They'll face Toronto again coming up in 2 weeks, but next up is Madison. Not able to be at Breese Stevens Field for this matchup, but they are coming to Greenville in a battle of the top two teams right now in the USL League One power rankings, two of the hottest clubs overall, of course. And as you can see, Madison, Toronto, Madison, before Greenville sees Richmond for the first time in quite a while from earlier this season. And then FC Tucson comes back to town to face Greenville. And remember, Tucson won that matchup in Greenville 3-1 recently. So Greenville looking to get those points back as that's the last road match for Tucson down the stretch in their final 7 matches. Coming up, we'll take a look at USL League 2. They had their final as the Flint City Bucks took on Reading United AC.
Fortune can hit from here. Oh! McCarthy once more. Back in, and it's a goal for North Carolina FC. Big shot and score. And Ben Spees lets one fly and drills it. lifting. Header snap in. New Mexico to run away with it. We have stealing it now. The ball. Fortune can hit from here. Nice! And how about North Carolina FC?
Plays with Cooper, gets the return ball. Now Chavez to have a goal! What a strike from Jaime Chavez! His fourth of the year at Fresno FC.
Oto flipping it in towards the.
Oh, what a save! Tejas in a second save! Dos Santos was in behind. Oh, that's the one! Toby had a ball and makes it 1-0. Don't stop it now. Second goal of the year. Has Pittsburgh.
We continue halftime here from Toronto, Ontario. News and notes from around USL League One. As we see our July awards handed out, Lansing once again taking Player of the Month with Rafa Mintzingen, but Daryl Shore and the hot forward Madison FC Flamingos taking Coach of the Month as they continue the ride up the table, just like Chattanooga and Greenville as well, as we see so much success across League One, peaking at the right moment, along with Lansing. Tumi Moshabane leading Lansing to some great results these past couple weeks, including that 2-0 win over the hot Chattanooga side, along with others in tow. As we take a look at Tumi Moshabane, he's been such a strong player from the inception, getting going in on some of the scoring from the first match of the season. Here you can see him tiptoe through the keeper and put it in by Orlando City B, as Lansing Ignite really, not so much early in the season, but as the season's gone on, has been so strong at Cooley Law School Stadium. They're teaming up with Elma N4, another forward, heading that ball in as Tumi Moshabane getting the assist, and breaking out the moves was Elma N4. You'll see some more moves after this next goal here on his Player of the Week stride here this past week, as this strike, just a beauty by Chattanooga. Not much Alex Mangles could do with that one. Just gorgeous on the power to the top right corner. And now heading to the corner and doing what he does so well with Elma N4 as they break it down for you at Cooley Law School Stadium. Here looking at the team of the week, of course, Moshabane there is Player of the Week. Two members from the teams in front of us, Aaron Walker, Jake Keegan after the win over Tormenta. Mostly these teams, of course, Flamingos and Lansing Ignite. As Forward Madison at the top of the power rankings, they and Greenville rocketing up there, as Toronto FC2 taking a slide to number 9, North Texas down at number 5. Looking at the goals leaders now, Ronaldo Demos feeling some pressure from Jake Keegan, tied for the Golden Boot lead, as Stephen Beatty will look to have his say coming up this weekend along with Perusa in this second half. Dallas J, Pablo Hara, they've been the top names in the goalkeeping battle this season, and they continue to do so. Dallas J, a shutout in this first half, looking for his 10th clean sheet of the season if he's able to hold on in this matchup in front of us today. Scoreboard looking at last week's action on Saturday. Clean sheets for 4 squads out there and a 1-0 win for Greenville. Chattanooga and Tormenta coming up tomorrow, and should be a good battle of two teams in the playoffs. Chattanooga sneaking by North Texas with a 1-0 win on a PK by Stephen Beatty. Here a look at standings again, as Greenville, we mentioned this before, a win and they will be up in sole possession of 4th place in the table, while for Toronto just trying to end the slide of 2 games. Tomorrow's schedule here in USL League One, no midweek games before us, just these 3 to come in this Week 20 action, as it should be a fun one. Tormenta, Chattanooga before the late night affair between North Texas and FC Tucson. Coming up here from Toronto, we'll continue halftime before second half kick. Highlights, stats, next here from BMO Training Ground. Welcome back here into Toronto as we get set for second half kick. First half highlights here between Greenville and Toronto in their first meeting of the season. It's been all triumph so far. This pressure and transition attack has been fantastic, as Mohamed having to clear this away down the left flank, but it would be recovered by Tyler Pollock. Spinning back, and here's the build-up on this play. Mohamed thought about going left, but went right, took a chance on it, firing, and off Filion and in by Dom Bolin, his first of the season. Noah Mohamed offering some assistance in last week's goal against Tormenta for Greenville, and this time around, sort of getting the pseudo-assist there off of the keeper. And then trouble at the back again as Ovalle losing it on the pressure. Gomez, a great stop by Filion, but not done yet as Jake Keegan slides this home 2-0 to the away side early on. As Filion, not much he could do off his line. Ovalle just didn't handle that pass well and didn't feel the pressure of those two Greenville Triumph players. Back Greenville would come as we continued action in the first half. Gomez, a great look here, but instead of the shot, cuts it back over to Mohamed. Bunk Anderson took a few steps forward trying to stop Gomez, but left it wide open for the slotted pass to Mohamed, who finishes it for his first of this League One season. As Omar Mohamed, Dom Bolin, and Jake Keegan putting Greenville up 3-0 here on the road. What a result this would be to put Greenville back into the playoff discussion. Welcome back here into BMO Training Ground as we're hearing some halftime substitutes getting set to come on for TFC2. Indeed, there they are, Serbal and Akinola. Akinola starting the last two matches for TFC2, not seeing too much production at the top, but will certainly look to get things going as Susi will come out for Akinola and Serbal will come on, a prototypical starter here all season for TFC2, and off comes Faria. Faria, who arguably has been one of the stronger players for TFC2 today, so interesting choice there, as Faria on the left wing will be replaced, and it looks like Akinola will go there instead of his usual spot at the top of the formation, so we'll see how he does to open the offense up as we start the second half here from BMO Training Ground in Toronto, Ontario. I'm Chris Makovic bringing you the action here on ESPN+. 3-0 Greenville early on as they continue the attack here, as Bolin loses it to Romeo. First matchup here in Week 20 of USL League One, and we could have a sort of surprising result, but not too surprising really, as Toronto has lost their last two at home. As now Greenville looking to make it 3 and 4 winless for Toronto. They'll have their say, of course, in these final 45. Romeo stepping up, and he'll give it off. As you see those two substitutions from the break for Toronto FC2. Akinola, his first touch of this second half, as he'll knock it back over, and they'll work it around the side. Akinola back with it, working against Hemmings, the right back for Greenville. Whips it in there and cleared by Lee. Akinola, last season with Toronto FC, 1 assist in 4 appearances, has 1 goal and 1 assist in 8 appearances for their Major League Soccer side in this 2019 season. Just 3 shots managed in his 2 starts the last 2 weeks. And so far, these first 2 minutes, it's TFC2 on the ball, looking to break through. Romeo surveying. He and Bunk Anderson, the center backs today, as Petrasso working with the pressure of Tyler Pollock. Mohamed plays it up, but stopped by Klaus, and it's back to Dallas J, pitching a shutout in that first 45. Okello heading it on. Knocked up by Bolin, and back with Lee. It falls on through. As Toronto FC2, 8 shots in that first half, 3 on target for Greenville. 7 shots, 5 on target. Romeo sweeping that left side. Here's Mohamed. Cutting through centrally. Stopped by Lee, knocking him off the ball and cleared by the Triumph. Keegan up ahead. Bunk Anderson there, so is Romeo. As Keegan, the Stormville, New York native, chasing after the ball. Perusa on the run. Flag stays down here in the wind. Tiptoeing the end line, plays it over, and through the box untouched. Serbal on his knees there asking for the touch. Akinola gives it off to Mohamed. Waja, Petrasso, back to Waja. Cutting it in, stopped just in time as it's swept away by Klaus. The Clemson midfielder getting all the way back. As TFC2 dictating possession early on in the second 45. They had the slight edge in the first half, 52% to 47, I should say 47.7% exactly for the Triumph. Romeo, Perusa playing a little bit deeper. Tackled away by Polak, nearly won from behind the takedown Perusa, and a foul is called against the TFC2 striker. A free kick for the Triumph. As it was Paul Klaus going down. Another look here. Polak winning that ball as Seiler went to clear it. And Perusa called for the foul. Perusa, as you saw at halftime, 8 goals on the season, tied for second now with Stephen Beattie of Chattanooga in the Golden Boot race. 5-time Team of the Week member. There's a frustrating start to this match for Greenville with those 3 offsides calls. But they held strong in there, getting 2 more goals by that point. Akinola. Back to Mohamed. Perusa now. Flicks it on. Stopped by Lee with the back heel. Bolin knocking Mohamed off his feet. A free kick now for TFC2, potentially to get back in this match. What an opportunity as well on that angle. Gonna take a shot or get those big bodies involved in the box. TFC2 looking to stay in the hunt for the playoffs. With a win today, they would tie Greenville on the table at 26 points. Greenville, though, with 3 points today, would get sole possession of 4th. They still have a match in hand over a few teams. One hop out of play, and it looks like this snuck out just before touching Hemmings. Indeed, it did. It's a goal kick for Dallas J. Greenville, as I mentioned, a great run in the last 6, 4-1-1 record, and 13 points. As you see, this ball going out on the free kick, targeting Okello. Over that stretch, 5 clean sheets and 2 wins against OCB, 2 against North Texas, and that other against Tormenta last week. The only team that gave them trouble over the stretch was FC Tucson, who took it to Greenville that night, 3-1 on the scoreboard. But I think most importantly for this Triumph side this season, they have 9 goals over the last 6, and that's a pretty good stretch for this Triumph offense that struggled in the early part here of 2019. This ball skied out of play by Dallas J. It's a throw-in on the far flank for TFC2. They quickly take it. Avalle cutting back, good footwork there by the midfielder. Waja. Back to Avalle. Over the head of Polak, and he'll let that go out of play. Avalle, the Chilean, most recently playing in the 2nd division in Chile, before also his loan with Real Monarchs, SLC, and USL Championship, making 6 appearances for Real Salt Lake and MLS. Now you see it there. Luck on the road, to put it lightly, as 4 goals in the clean sheet against North Texas, and then 3 here so far in the first 53 in Toronto. Walker losing it on the tackle from behind, and it's back with TFC2. Waja out wide to Petrasso. Knocked down and headed back the other way. And it's kind of funny how the season has transpired to this point. Early on with the lack of goal scoring for Greenville, a lot of fans and followers of League One saying, Greenville, look for a striker. Add some depth there to help out Jake Keegan. And right now, putting in goals left and right these last few matches. As this ball goes out of play for a throw-in. So now J.J. Donnelly coming into the mix of just a hot team out there for Greenville, offering some help off the bench. Donnelly, a player as well that put in 7 goals for Tormenta 2 in the USL League One season this summer. Former Brentford FC Academy player in his native London, England. TFC2 still trying to get through this Greenville block. They haven't really been able to. That's been the concern for most teams here against the Triumph this season. But here's Akinola trying to find a gap on that left wing. He'll cycle it back, though, as it's given straight away. Heavy challenge by Mohamed, but cleared back downfield. Buck Anderson looking to deal with this. Keegan on the run, and he'll play it on back to Filion. An awkward pass, but handled well on the right foot by the Toronto keeper. Ball over the top. Okello on the run, but so is Jay, as he'll pick it on up. Another look here on this collision, as it was Walker stepping up, lining into the ball, but there was Mohamed. It was cleared downfield anyway by Greenville. As Tariq Mohamed has been caught up in a few challenges here today, as he and Dom Bolin have been going at it. The physical battle on that far flank now. Greenville with the throw-in, as we'll get back possession. Fans of USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Foul gives the ball back to the Greenville Triumph, meanwhile. Klaus gives it off. Quick start here for Greenville. Buck Anderson heads it on. Falls to Okello. Trying this left flank. Little passes here and there. Opening things up, though. Petrasso, a good run towards the box here on the right flank. Mohamed there, but too heavy on that first touch. And it's back to Greenville. Mohamed, Walker, Mohamed, who plays it on back now for Pollock. Former St. Louis FC player. Greenville testing that right flank now. Boland to Hemmings. They're the combo on that right wing the last few matches. Coach John Harkes tinkering with the lineup a bit and finding that combo has suited the team well. Down the right flank, Gomez in there. He'll keep the ball. Cuts it back to Keegan, but stopped. Stepping up was Romeo and getting it back. Klaus. Bolin wide open on that right wing. Towards the end line, heavy touch, and it goes over the line. Oh, he'll want that one back. Wide open there with Mohamed giving him space to service it in. Before the former Asheville City SC player in MPSL. Going out of play, and it's back to TFC2 here in the 58th, as both teams are locked in here. Neither side has really been able to break through for a clear opportunity in this second half. Petrasso through ball. A really good look there for Akinola. But it falls to Dallas J, and he'll pick it on up. And Toronto, that's where they've found their pop here in the run of play this season. Those through balls, Akinola and Perusa here today, maybe offering some help. Out of play, and it will go to Greenville, who we're hearing may make their first substitution shortly. An offensive one. As two balls are on the field, cleared by Okello, and gets set to get back underway. As though it is a free kick on the far side. Right along that far flank, Max Hemmings over it. Englishman sending it down the flank, headed up. Keegan under it, but Mohamed, a volley straight up into the air, and it will work its way out of play. Throw in the final third for the Triumph. Hemmings, Bolin, back to Hemmings, towards the end line, brought down. A foul is called on Tariq Mohamed. And we will see a card here for TFC2, and it's Tariq Mohamed going into the book for that foul on Max Hemmings at the end line. Mohamed, his 7th yellow card of the season. We'll take another look here. As Bolin knocking over to Hemmings and just falling into the back of Hemmings, trying to get the stop. But a free kick just outside the box now for Greenville. Can't really get a shot off from here, but Gomez will try to make do with what he has. As we'll have a few bodies in there. Lee, Seiler, Keegan offering support along with Hemmings inside the box. Ball sent in, falls through, but only red kits in the middle. Through there, Hemmings too heavy of a touch, and Filione on top. Good vision there by Tyler Pollock, finding Hemmings still in the box and onside as well. Back the other way we go, all the way to Dallas J, and he'll pick it on up here in the 61st. The Triumph really slowing this game down. In this second half, first 15 minutes, they're up 3-0 with all 3 goals coming in the first half if you're just joining us here. And here is that substitution for the Triumph, as it is Edmundo Robinson coming in for Dominic Bolin. And that'll be like for like switch. As here we have a recap of our goals so far. Mohamed, the save, and the first goal of the day in the 7th minute. Robinson on to the right wing slot. Robinson on. Bolin off, as Bolin putting in a good shift, and also Mohamed and he getting in a great battle so far in these first 62. Bolin opened things up, as you saw. Mohamed getting it off of Filione. And then Bolin cleaning up in the box. Mohamed there, stealing it from Keegan. Ovalle losing it back to Greenville. Robinson, his first touches here of the match. Walker looking for the service. He's had 2 goals in his last few matches. Wearing the captain's armband here today as Mohamed takes it over, slides it in, Buck Anderson after it, and enough pressure from Hemmings to force the center back to touch the ball and heave it down the far flank. Out of play though, and it's a throw-in for the Greenville Triumph. Edmundo Robinson seeing some more time on the field the last few matches. Had a PK that he scored against North Texas late on. He drew the foul as well for that, making today his 8th appearance. Out of play, Gomez draws the contact as Akinola sending it out. Hemmings with the throw-in. Robinson, another player with League 2 experience here in the USL, 11 appearances in 2018 with SC United Bantams. Here comes Toronto FC2. Petrasso on this near flank working against Polak. Pressure also from Klaus. As Polak goes down, and the whistle is blown as a foul is called by Petrasso, taking down Polak on his run. As the native of Toronto called for the foul. Another look here as Klaus and Polak getting all the way back. And Petrasso, maybe enough contact there, grabbing Polak to draw the foul. A free kick for Greenville. And it will be Polak over the ball. Native of Lincoln, Nebraska, former Creighton player in his collegiate days. Waja ahead. TFC2 looking to find their first in the back of the net today. Beautiful through ball. Akinola forward and in. TFC2 on the board here at home. Has the comeback begun for the team in red. Here in the 64th, off the bench is Akinola. Another look here and a breakdown defensively for the Triumph as Serbal setting the through ball by Hemmings. Maybe clipped Jay along the way, but up and in. The shutout has ended for Greenville as Hemmings looking for the offsides flag, but it did not come as Lee was covering his own man, Perusa, and could not step up to stop Akinola. His first of the season, now making his third appearance. Hemmings back ahead. And a free kick awarded to Greenville as Akella will give the ball back. But that Robinson sub is interesting because Bolin being at right wing and you have Hemmings at right back, you're able to overlap and switch defensively and have two really good defenders back there. But now that Bolin comes off, it's a forward in Robinson who's going to be up the field a bit more, and Hemmings has to deal with the likes of that in a 1v1 battle a bit more. Nakanola winning that timeout. 3-1 to Greenville here in the 66th. But remember, Toronto does have two comeback draws here this season. Robinson takes it in against Mohamed. Out of play, and it's back to TFC2. As Akella will take the throw-in. Fans follow the Greenville Triumph and TFC2 and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, US Open Cup, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. And, of course, we'll have 3 more matchups here in League One for you. Tomorrow's docket. Akinola losing the ball to Robinson. Towards the box, cuts it around Ovalle. Goes down the strike. Philly on the save at the near post. What a stop as Ovalle, the captain, worrying that the penalty would be called. It did not come as Robinson went down in the box. But a secondary strike here from the play as Klaus powers into this one. On target, and the keeper for Toronto is there. As Greenville with the corner kick now. Philly on a few saves here today. That one huge. Gomez heaves us in. Headed down and out of the box. Foul called on the Triumph as that pack of players met just outside the frame of goal. But that save keeps it at a 2-goal game still. All 3 goals for the Triumph coming in the first half, nearly doubling their total of first half goals this season. It brings them up to 20 goals here today. over the course of the entire campaign, as Perusa offsides there. As he'll let that go out. Jay and the Greenville defense will have the kick. You can hear the wind here on our microphones on the field, really whipping throughout these 69 minutes and slowing this game down, as the Triumph, you have to expect, may have that tactic here as well on the road, up 3-1 now. But Akinola putting that goal in the back of the net. That's the only shot on target so far here in the second half, as both teams combined for a good bit of them in the first half with back and forth action. But the wind here, cloudy skies in Toronto, certainly playing a factor here in the second half. Perusa battling with Walker. Sends a through ball ahead, but Lee is the only one there, as Akinola was a bit too deep in the central midfield for it. Walker slicing through the traffic, former FC Cincinnati player when John Harkes was there. Mohamed stepping up. Taken down. As Pollock will have to reset. As a yellow card will be issued to the captain, Ovalle, for persistent infringement. Another look here, as advantage was played briefly and then coming back and taking down Mohamed as well. For Ovalle, his 6th yellow card of the season. His 18th start overall here in the campaign. As Walker will stand over this one. We'll see what the Triumph do with this. I'll knock it down the left flank. There's Omar Mohamed. Off Waja and out of play. So it'll be a throw in here on the near flank. Pollock, throw in. John Harkes and his staff talking things over, deciphering what the field is giving them. This will curl and stay in play. No. Out for a throw in. Kevin Paulitz, you see, number 4 there on the far side of the Greenville bench. He was out last week with an injury, but traveling with the team and making the 18, and we're hearing that he may be coming on next for the Triumph. Has been a stalwart at the back with Lee and the center back duo. We'll see where they place him on, as Seiler is out there as well, but a versatile player that can play holding midfield, get up the field on attack, and also at right back. Mohamed grabbed from behind by Serbil, spins through the traffic, still with it, gives it off to Gomez, and it's back to Mohamed. No, leaves it on through to Pollock. Mohamed ahead, Gomez wide open left side of the box, tips it off Romeo. It's a corner kick for Greenville. The combo play working on this left flank for the Triumph, as they'll get the corner kick here on the road. And to give you a sense of the wind, there it is on that corner flag. Another look here. Mohamed fighting through the traffic with that spin move. That's what he does so well, those 1v1 battles. Opening things up. An assist last week, a goal today. Gomez whips it in there. Headed, almost cleared. Seiler lets it on by. And it goes to TFC 2. Omar Mohamed has been a feature in the starting 11 for Greenville most of the season after facing an injury early on in the preseason. A goal and assist in 2 straight matches. Thrown on the far side, TFC 2 still trying to get things going here in this second half action. 73rd minute, Serbil, one of the subs on at halftime. He'll take it back around Hemmings. Akinola not able to get to that one. It's back to Max Hemmings, who will clear it down the field on a little chip. Robinson on the run, gets around Bunk Anderson, flicks it on, but just out of play. As it's a throw in for TFC 2. Down 3-1 here at home. They've gotten 1 goal in the last, count this, 3 matches. But on the losing end, giving up now overall 9 goals in the last 3 home matches if you include today. 12 if you include that draw with Lansing a few weeks back. So while they have seen many goals fallen for themselves here at BMO Training Ground, it's been a real worry here defensively and a bit porous at times, as we've seen today, as we continue into the 74th minute. 3-1 triumph on the road. It would be their 3rd straight victory. Not able to get that clean sheet today as Akinola struck in the second half, but a win today again would move them into sole possession of 4th place in League One. And they do have a match in hand on both Madison and Chattanooga. Something to keep in mind. Robinson, right flank, driving against Ovalle. Here comes Mohamed as well in support. Flicks it, and will keep it barely in play. Good move by the right winger. Klaus, backheeled. Gomez, top of the box, getting through traffic. Trying for the cross, will curl here. Gives it off to Robinson. Flicked on in. Walker there. Settles it. Bring it down. Strike is saved by Filione. Walker trying to find a 3rd in the last few matches, but couldn't. As Filione, after the initial contact, pouncing on it. Okello goes down. A foul is called. TFC2 gets the ball. Another look here. Service by Klaus. In there. Walker brings it down. And almost flicking it through, but enough of that left paw still extended by Filione to get the stop. Klaus gets a yellow card after that collision with Okello. There's the card. He knew it was coming. 4th of the season for Paul Klaus. $15 minutes remaining. Knocked ahead, Waja. Sends it over. Perusa the strike. Saved by Jay, just tipping it wide. Had to read that so well as it deflected off of Lee. Perusa wanting that back. Wide open opportunity for the Toronto striker. Deflected off of Lee, and Jay enough of his body going to the right side to stop it. Would have been an easy save otherwise, but the deflection certainly changed things. And some defensive depth coming on for Greenville as Politz will come in back after missing 1 game for the final 14 minutes. And with this sub, you have to think either Seiler or Hemmings are moving to the midfield as Paul Klaus is down injured. Paul Klaus, native of Manchester, United Kingdom. Klaus still being checked on as it's 3-1 Greenville here in the 77th. And now the referee asking for the stretcher. And that's definitely worrisome about one of the starters for Greenville, as he's feeling some pain as he went down after that chance by Perusa. 3-1 Greenville here as we continue in the 78th. Who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL League One Power Rankings, only on USLLeague1.com. The Greenville side, 2nd entering this week, just behind Ford Madison, and as I mentioned before, Toronto down to number 9. You hate to see this as Paul Klaus was being subbed out for Kevin Politz, but injury concerns as well. as he's still down being treated by the trainer. As Clouse goes down after seeing he was being subbed off. As Pollitt's coming in, substitution for Clouse, who leaving injured now but was being subbed off anyway. As Pollitt's will slide into one of their center back spots most likely. Seiler and Hemmings will see who steps up into the midfield for his 4-back for Greenville. But away from all that, Toronto FC2 a chance here to get a second in this match in the 79th. Perusa, his shot saved by Jay, as Serbal standing over this one at the corner flag. He'll whip this one in, high arcing ball. Jay falling backward, but it goes out of play. And it's a goal kick here for the Triumph. As Paul Clouse still being treated there. And a worry there is he put in a great showing here today. You include that shot having to be saved by Filione at the near post that we saw a few minutes ago. With just 11 minutes remaining. Here as Toronto FC2 trying to avoid another loss here at home, which would be their 3rd straight. Flicked on. Good look as Pollitt will send it the other way. Kevin Pollitt, the product of the New York Red Bulls organization, spending time with their 2-side and USL Championship last season, and foul is called against Robinson as it's back to TFC2. But John Hark saying, player that he enjoyed watching when his son played at Wake Forest alongside Kevin Pollitt, and someone he wanted to bring in for his squad here in Greenville. 3-time Team of the Week member for Kevin Pollitt, 2017 ACC Defensive Player of the Year during his time at Wake Forest as well. Has been a starter all season here for Greenville, along with Evan Lee at those 2 center back spots. It is Max Hemming sliding up into the midfield. Cole Seiler filling in at the right back spot now. As a free kick here, won by Perusa. Quick restart though, as Akinola taking it down the left wing as Perusa, a bit of a limp, but getting back into the action. Gomez winning it back here in the 81st. A foul is called. Now we'll look at some of the recent action here. Robinson and Mohamed going at it. Robinson called for the foul a few moments ago. And here's the one by Hemmings in the midfield, knocking Perusa off the ball. Thought he won it, but a foul is called. Jay standing over the ball, looking to bat this downfield here in the 82nd. What a result this could turn out to be in the table, as Greenville would move up and continue to go step for step with Chattanooga and Madison, 2 of the other hot teams overall here in League One. And it sets up for a fun Saturday here in League One action. Chattanooga-Tormenta, a very interesting matchup. As that ball goes out of play, a throw-in on the far side. As Tormenta, their recent slide as well, not seeing too many points or goals in the back of the net. They're now in 3rd and in danger of falling further with the hot streak by Lansing and these other squads. And Chattanooga certainly could put a big statement out, and a lot of teams on warning here in League One. They'll face Tormenta 2 times in the next 2 weeks. As also that other rescheduled matchup from the postponement earlier this season in Statesboro. So 2 trips to Statesboro, Georgia for Chattanooga. Chip ahead. Knocked down by Waja. Here's Perusa. Polak gets the header, battling with the Toronto striker, losing it to Petrasso. Politz and Mohamed after it. They win the ball, and Politz keeps it in play. Whip down the near flank. A foul was called against Romeo as he guarded Keegan. Toronto about to make their last substitution of the match, and Perusa, his day is done. Denied by Jay on that one chance through the center of the box. It's Hundle on now, looking to strike for his third of the season. He has 2 so far in his 8 appearances. Now, of course, his 9th. He'll fill in towards the top of the formation along with Akinola. These two teams again will meet in 2 weeks back here at BMO Training Ground, and then they'll meet a third and final time in the weeks ahead down in the upstate of South Carolina. Out of play, throw in coming for Mohamed and TFC2. But this side, known for their late goals, as Walker wins the ball back. Toronto FC2 scoring 11 goals this season after the 75th minute. It's 37% of their tallies overall. They've been known as a comeback team, but not so much happening here so far. They do have 6 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here in their home confines to make it happen. But those 3 goals in the first half by Greenville standing true so far on the scoreboard. Mohamed flicks it on ahead, but losing it as it's back to Toronto FC2. Toronto again will be on the road. Their next matchup next weekend at Richmond in City Stadium for a 7 p.m. start before seeing Greenville again. Greenville, it's really tough stretch for them, but making easy work of the first match of it, with 2 matchups in their next 4 coming against this Toronto side and another 2 home and away against Forward Madison. Forward Madison, Greenville fighting to a 0-0 draw at Breese Stevens Field. If you remember earlier this season, the snow out, really a blizzard game, I guess you could say. Strike Akinola, but sending it out of play. Wishful thinking on the volley, and it's a free kick for Dallas J. But the woes continue today for TFC2. Despite having their typical squad here today, after all the changes from last week against Madison, this sent out of play. Greenville taking care of their opportunities today. And certainly putting the pressure on some of these other League One teams to keep pace with them as Hemmings goes down against Okello. Greenville getting set to make their third and final substitution as well, as Seiler sends his free kick down the field. Hundle getting his first touches of the match off the bench. Mohamed streaking down the left flank. Something brewing for TFC2. Serbal lays it off. Okello there. Strikes it towards the frame of goal, but right there is Dallas J. Directly at his chest as he'll pick this on up to take it down the field. About 3.5 minutes remaining here from BMO Training Ground. Another look at Okello's strike. Applause there from Tyler Pollock. 5 shots on target today out of their 11 for TFC2. 9 for the Triumph, and 7 on target. This is what head coach John Harkes has been saying all season. Despite the early struggles in the offense, he knew what he was building, and certainly they're peaking at the right moment offensively, and defensively, always one of the top units out there. Not seeing the clean sheet today, but just 1 goal against this Toronto side that's seen 30 entering today is certainly a feat on the road. Mohamed, Seiler, Given away back to Mohamed and Toronto FC2. Robinson on the run, trying to get it back from Petrasso. No good there. But the deflection back to Hemmings. Now Akinola. Left side of the box. Looking to strike. He does. Deflected away by Paulitz, as that would have been an awkward angle for Jay to take care of. But instead, the Morganville, New Jersey native deflecting it out of play. And a corner kick coming. First, we'll have the substitution, though, as Carlos Gomez coming off for Sammy Gadiri. And Gomez in there with a few strikes of the ball himself. If you remember, he had that initial steal from Avaye at the top of the box. His shot saved by Filione, but then the pass on the assist to open things up for Jake Keegan, and he slotted it in for the second goal of the day for the Triumph. 89th minute as Gadiri comes on. Native of Boca Raton, Florida, making his 11th appearance of this 2019 campaign. Serbal sends the corner in. A bender headed up by Lee. Still alive. Up by Seiler, and a foul is called as Jay made the save anyway. Up and out of play, and it's going to be a free kick for Greenville. Waiting to hear word of stoppage time. It was really a back and forth first half, but things quieted down quickly in the second half, as things do when Greenville goes on top. And talking to the Tormenta head coach John Milracy this week, he said really Greenville did what they always do against them last week for the 1-0 result. They got that early transition goal in the 29th minute and were able to block in defensively and get the result. We've seen that in the second half, ability to cohesively just shut down the game after putting 3 in the back of the net with their pressure early on. Robinson to Keegan, now Gadiri on the ball. Gadiri cuts back over, striking it, but deflected away by Mohamed. Going down is Hemmings, advantage played. Mohamed right side of the box, curling it at just wide of that far post. Found an angle he liked, but unable to get it on frame. Filione getting set for the goal kick. Brief shove into the back of Robinson as the Greenville striker a bit late giving the ball back. Another look at this, pretty clear infraction as Filione went after the ball. Still waiting on stoppage time here, as still some time for TFC2 to make some noise in this match. 5 minutes of stoppage time. Lee up and out of play as about 4 minutes of stoppage time remain here at BMO Training Ground. As quite the result here in front of us today, as everything gets a little bit tighter at that playoff line. The top 4 teams in the league make it in to the inaugural playoffs, as Mohamed tiptoes that far sideline, and we'll give it off to Keegan. North Texas Tormenta, they're out so far ahead in the table to start this year, but now a few results slipping along the way and making things a bit more interesting. Petrasso getting through traffic, working it out wide. As you can see there, good goal differential, 8-2 in the last 3 matches for Greenville. One hop in, taken by Jay, and he'll settle in on it. And that's the combo of this defense continually staying strong this season, but now the offense certainly clicking in these matches. When they get opportunities with their pressure at the top, they take care of them. Seiler battling with Akinola, goes down. Keegan on the advantage, continues the run towards the corner flag. He'll play it on back to Mohamed. cutting through the traffic. And now Greenville will pass it around a bit, looking to burn off the clock. Gadiri, Mohamed, Keegan, offsides, pleading his case, but it's a free kick to TFC2 with about 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining, as Filion will get things going over to Romeo, his center back. Frustrating day for TFC2. Included in there 19 fouls conceded, just compared to 9 for Greenville. Romeo from the back. That one goal coming from Akinola in the second half as he came off the bench. That out of play. And the Triumph looking to head all the way back home to the upstate of South Carolina with 3 points in tow in this Friday matchup. Again, they'll next face forward Madison at Legacy Early College in Greenville. Coming up next Saturday. Robinson through here a bit. Past Romeo. Filion there. Filion the save again. Stopping Robinson. Here's Waja the other way. And this lead for Greenville could be so much more here today. A couple saves throughout the match for Filion. Trying to keep TFC2 in this match. Ball whipped in by Mohamed. Settles down in there. Can't find it as Robinson just heaves this into the Toronto sky. Up and out of play. As it's the throw in for Mohamed. And he'll send it quickly in to Bunk Anderson. Waja. Deflected away, flicked on by Akello, but there is Dallas J. He'll pounce on it as we're nearly through our 5 minutes. And there it is. Greenville, what a result on the road. They take it 3-1. There are 3 goals in the first half enough. And John Harkes and his men headed back to the upstate of South Carolina with 3 points. And hey, they're in playoff position as well at 29 points and 4th. As they enter Saturday. Action here in League One, Week 20. Greenville is in playoff position as we hit down the rest of the stretch. And Chattanooga and Madison certainly will be battling to get back into position as we continue the weekend. And certainly the fans traveling all the way to Toronto to support the Triumph will be celebrating with the team as they have now met a 5-1-1 record in their last 7 matches, 16 points over that stretch. What a run for the Triumph as TFC2 going back to the drawing board, their 3rd straight loss here at home as they have given up now 12 goals in their last 4 matches. And as you can see, a 1-3-1 record in this homestand. They hit the road now looking for points at City Stadium in Richmond. Coming up next week, the Greenville Triumph putting on an offensive show in the first half. Go up 3-0 at the break. 3-1 is the finish. Highlights and stats coming up next on ESPN+. Welcome back here into Toronto as we put a bow on today. Greenville, 3 goals against Toronto in the first half, winning 3-1 here north of the border. The long journey worth it for this Triumph side, getting 3 points and moving to 4th in the League One table in playoff position. As we get set to look at our full match highlights, whole lot of goals here between these two, 4 of them. As we start with Greenville in the first half, finding an early strike through the play up ahead, and the clearance by Mohamed. Fighting all the way up the field is the left back, Tyler Polak. And then Omar Mohamed gives him an option, not to go back to the cross, but a shot of his own. Saved by Filion, but there is Dom Bolin for his first goal in a Triumph uniform. Another look here as a great rocket of a shot, dangerous one. As Filion can't grab onto it initially, Dom Bolin puts it in 1-0 to the Triumph in the 7th minute. Pressure would continue at the top. Stolen by Keegan, up to Gomez, but saved by Filion. Not done yet as Gomez finds Keegan, sliding it home 2-0 to the Triumph. As Gomez kept his head up, finding his striker, and that put Keegan in a tie for first in the Golden Boot race with Ronaldo Demos of North Texas SC. Certainly not done in the first half were the Triumph as Gomez, not a shot here, but looking for the pass to Mohamed, something John Harkes has emphasized, not just a cross into the box, wishing for a deflection, but looking up, finding that pass, and indeed, Mohamed was there as he celebrated the 3rd tally of the day for the Triumph. TFC2, though, they tried to get things going in the second half, didn't have too many chances, but they did have this one as Akinola came on. Beautiful through ball by Serbo for the assist, deflected off Jay, up and in, as they got one on the board, looking for more, but could not find any, as the Greenville defense just silenced TFC2 on this day. And you can see how many chances both sides had. Filion and Jay, plenty of saves on the day. 25 combined shots, 14 combined shots on target, and a really physical battle, as TFC2 ending with 19 fouls conceded, Greenville with 10. And as you can see, 5 yellow cards on the board as well. A huge result for Greenville. As we look at the table, they are above the playoff line, just 1 point behind Tormenta, though, as Tormenta and Chattanooga will do battle this weekend. Madison on their heels as well, knocked out of that spot. As we take a look now at the schedule ahead, Madison, a great opportunity at home against a struggling Richmond side that is a little bit hot of late. Could be a struggle for the Flamingos, but Tormenta, Chattanooga, a real matchup to watch for playoff position. And if Tormenta continues to slide of late, North Texas and Tucson as well in the late matchup coming tomorrow. Greenville, a dream result here on the road. They win 3-1 at TFC2, and TFC2 still back to the drawing board, trying to see what the woes are here at home. 3 straight home losses as we move into the rest of Week 20. Thank you to our entire crew. I'm Chris Makovic. Enjoy the rest of the League One weekend here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.